Well, welcome in Broncos country. I am going to be your host tonight, Mr. Trevor Salzman here, with my co-host Jody Moncrief. It's the two horsemen tonight. It's not the four. Keith Brugman and Albert Knoppers unfortunately couldn't be here today, but it's okay. Me and Jody are going to be here to break the Colts game down. We have Garrett Bolles' contract extension that just happened the other day. Riley Moss, we'll get to that news as well, him being out. But Jody, how are you doing, my friend?
All good. Big game this weekend. Pretty much lock the playoffs up if we win this game. Um, and this is a game we should win. Anthony Richardson is nothing special. The Colts are nothing special. And I've predicted all week that I think this will be an Atlanta type victory for us. And keep the win streak going.
Yeah, absolutely. That again, Jody, you just you nailed it right there. This is a game. If you're the Denver Broncos, you absolutely have to have. If you have any chance of making the playoffs, you have the Colts on your on your backside, and the Dolphins. Don't count them out as well. So, but don't count anybody out with our posse. You have Mr. Ernie Mays coming in here saying, "Go Broncos country only." Bo Nix for 6. I'm going to say hello, Keith and Trevor and Jody and Dutchy. Hope 9-5-0 Sunday. Absolutely, Ernie. Unfortunately, we don't have Keith with us tonight or Dutchy, but I'm sure they'll be with us in the chat or watch later. And then we have Mr. Paul Schaefer coming in here. You guys fire Keith? Question mark. howdy, horseman. No, we did not fire Keith. I promise. He just wasn't able to make it tonight. So me and Jody are going to have you guys covered here. The show never stops, so we're going to be here to break everything down. Okay, Jody, we'll just pop into it right now. We'll get the Garrett Bolles contract extension kind of knocked out here for our first topic. The other day, Garrett Bolles, I would believe yesterday, Garrett Bolles agreed to a 4-year, $82 million contract extension, $42 million guaranteed. Jody, just your first reactions or your gut reactions to that contract extension getting done. Of course, Denver just got off the bye as well. So it's something that we've all been clamoring here at Denver Bronco Roundup for the Broncos to do. They finally get it done. Your thoughts, my friend?
I love the move. It does a couple of things. You get him on a team-friendly deal. You lock up a tackle who right now by PFF is the number 2 rated left tackle in blocking. Although he is a little frustrating at times with the penalties, I'll take a holding here and a holding there. If you're going to shut down, the reigning defensive player of the year like he did Myles Garrett, that's 2 years in a row. He's durable. Besides the fluke the broken foot, he's been on the field and he's improved really every year. Those first 2 years were a little rough. Other than that, he's improved. He's been steady. He's the leader of this whole line. You get him signed up now. That allows you come draft time where round 1 is not trying to put pieces together to go get another left tackle. It also protects your franchise quarterback where you're not trying to, either put a project there or, use multiple assets to go get another left tackle. So, yeah, I love the move. And they have outs. It's like basically a 2-year, whatever you said, $48 million. So you can get out of it after 2 years. But if he's playing well, let him play him. I mean, left tackles are playing, well into their upper 30s. Look at Trent Williams, look at Jason Peters, Tyron Smith. There's plenty of them that are still playing and at a high level. So I have no complaints about this. I'm glad we locked him up and keep paying your own. And, Denver they've got a path where they want to go, and I love that he's a core guy, so I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. My quick thoughts on the Garrett Bolles signing. Yeah, I mean, again, it's not a total four-year deal. It's mainly a 2-year deal. It seemed like after that Browns game on last Monday night, that when Garrett Bolles shut down Myles Garrett, it seemed like that was a tipping point for Denver when it came to bringing back Garrett Bolles. I mean, Myles Garrett was sackless. He didn't get 1 sack all game. Garrett Bolles has allowed only 1 sack all year. So, yeah, I mean, he's a top 10 left tackle in the NFL. Why create a hole if you don't need to create a hole? And, it takes development time it takes time to develop a left tackle in the NFL, anyways. I don't think you want to do that on top of having a rookie quarterback and having a quarterback going into his second year. You need to surround Bo Nix with as much talent as possible, and that starts with Denver's O line. I think Denver's O line. I think they have a top 10 offensive line in the NFL, maybe even top 5, arguably. But yeah, I mean, Garrett Bolles, just real quickly, according to ESPN, Garrett Bolles has a pass block win rate of 93%. That is 7th best in the NFL. And Sean Payton has said it too. This is what Garrett Bolles does really well. He's a hell of a pass blocker, and it was important for them to re-sign him. So I applaud the move, and I think here's the thing with Garrett Bolles. He loves being in Denver. I tip my cap to Garrett Bolles because he wanted to be in Denver, and he could have went out there in the free agency market and gotten more money, but he stayed in Denver. He believed in this team, not just with Bo Nix, but he believes in what Sean Payton's trying to build, that culture that they have here in Denver. I think it just speaks volume to what they're building here. That's now Denver's 4th guy that they have re-signed this year with Quinn Miners, Pat Surtain, Jonathan Cooper, and now Garrett Bolles. So huge for Denver, and it just, I think, goes to show, future guys that are like Nick Benito or maybe even Cortland Sutton or even Zach Allen, that, hey, if you play your butt off and you play well, this organization is going to reward you going forward. So I think it's not only just sends a message to Garrett Bolles and the appreciation the Broncos have for him, but also for the guys on the roster that are looking to get paid. So a huge win for the Broncos re-signing Garrett Bolles. Need to get here and get some of our posse in here, because I mean, you guys are blowing up the chat. It's amazing. Scott Sigley coming in here and saying evening all. We have Mr. Michael Ronquillo. Good evening, Trevor and Jody, and go Bo Broncos. Also, guys, please be patient with us tonight. It's only the two of us. I know Michael and Phil, you guys like to send stars, and anybody that likes to send stars, just know we appreciate it. We're going to get to you guys' questions. Just be patient with us because there's only two of us tonight. And then Mr. Phil McLaughlin coming in here saying, good evening, Rocket Man and Judge. Great getting Bolles signed. And now we can concentrate on running back, tight end, and depth. Absolutely, Phil. We got Paul coming in here and say, yes, freedom in the draft. Yes, Judge. Scott coming in here and saying, Bolles, a Bronco for life, stability. Paul coming in here saying, just echoing what Phil's saying, we need an offensive weapon in the first round. Running back, tight end, or wide receiver. Paul coming in here. Of course, Paul, love your comments in here. I don't like talking draft when our team is a contender. Let's talk playoffs. Absolutely, Paul. I couldn't agree with that even more. One freaking sack has been credited to Bolles. My goodness, yeah, absolutely. I mean, this guy's been a stud all year. Michael Ronquillo coming in here and saying Sean Payton didn't know how old Garrett Bolles was during his presser today. Yeah, he did mention that today. Sean Payton did. He said that he credited Garrett Bolles for just being here and being in great condition, and that's just credit to Garrett Bolles. Just a great condition, and he's playing his butt off, and he got rewarded. It's great to see. So, all right, Jody, anything else on the Garrett Bolles discussion that you want to talk about? Any last final thoughts?
No, I just again, I love the move. It locks up one of your own. And I think it's a huge move because it allows you in round one to go get a playmaker for Nix, because you can't go with either a project, or you were either going to have to go with a project, which I don't like, with a rookie quarterback, or you were going to have to invest multiple picks to move up to get a left tackle. This left tackle class is not deep. And so it does a lot of things. And they got him on a team-friendly deal. I mean, if Bolles hit the market, I've heard predictions anywhere from $6 to $8 million more he could have got a year. So, love the deal, and I'll take a couple. Like I said, I'll take a couple holding calls here or there if that allows. If that means Bolles is shutting down, the reigning defensive player of the year and Myles Garrett. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And real quickly on the Garrett Bolles topic before we get off of this topic here, it sounds like the Broncos and Bolles were kind of in discussion all year. Just after that Browns game on Monday night, according to Mike Kliss of 9 News, this is what he had to say about it. He said that second year, Denver guaranteed to Garrett Bolles. That's kind of really what pushed it over the edge. So if that's the case, I mean, just going to tip the cap to Denver and not messing around with that, not letting Garrett Bolles hit the market. And just creating a bigger hole at left tackle when you don't need. It allows Denver to have more flexibility going forward into the draft, being able to go get a wide receiver, tight end, running back, maybe even upgrade the defensive line. Who knows? But this gives you more flexibility now going forward, even in the free agency. now you can do, fill other holes in other areas and not have to worry about left tackle going forward. Real quickly, we have Mr. Kenny Patrick coming in here. I love seeing Kenny. Kenny, I hope you're doing well. Hope work's treating you well. Good evening, fellas. All aboard. I got my ticket to the ride this week, Jody. I think he's meaning the Bo Nix train.
Choo choo.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, it's. I think it's going to be another, Bo Nix heavy passing game for him. I think this is going to be a game where he can possibly go out there and really show, just everybody watching what he truly is. And I love seeing the growth from Bo Nix here, going forward. All right. You want to get into the that topic kind of went pretty quickly. You want to get into the Colts and Broncos matchup, Jody?
Yeah, this is a big game this week. You can pretty much lock up the playoffs. The first time since Super Bowl 50. The Colts are not a good team, in my opinion. They do nothing great. Anthony Richardson is, in my opinion, Tim Tebow 2.0. They don't throw the ball well. They don't run the ball well. Their starting right tackle is out for this game. Mm-hmm. This is a game that Denver needs to take, needs to, in my opinion, just like they did Atlanta, go up early and dominate the whole game and lock up the playoffs. Riley Moss, he's going to be out again. That is one concerning area, what they do there. Denver's two worst performances on defense have been when they've played a lot of zone the whole game. I hope that that's not what they do. Live or die by the sword, do what you do best. If that's my opinion. I'd like to see a lot more of Chris Abrams-Drains out there. I still think you're going to see Levi Wallace. They're not going to go away from him. He's a veteran, and they signed him for a reason. I wouldn't expect another horrible game like that, but he didn't leave a good taste in anyone's mouth Monday night or a couple Monday nights ago. So, yeah, this is definitely a game you need to win. You should win, and this is a game that you should not take to the fourth quarter with it being so close.
I want to ask you this question, Jody, and we'll get to the chat. So the Broncos, if they win against the Colts, they have a 90% chance of making the playoffs. If they lose, they have a 48% chance of making the playoffs. Right now, they're currently sitting at 74% chance. Do you think this is the biggest game the Broncos are going to be playing in the last 7-8 years coming Sunday?
Yeah, I would say it's probably their biggest game since, Super Bowl 50, really. You win this game, I think, like whatever you said, a 90-some% chance of making the playoffs. You lose this game, you're below 50%. You still would control your own destiny, but you have 3 hard games left. You got San Diego, you got the Chargers who are fighting for that 5th seed and to make the playoffs. And you got the Bengals who, although their record would say they're not a good team, they're an explosive offense. And then you got Kansas City. You've already faced them once and lost. They still may be fighting for that number 1 seed, so there may be a lot to play for them as well. So this is a game you need to take care of.
Yeah, absolutely. With that short schedule, Thursday night football against the Chargers is going to be huge. So you need to take care of business here on Sunday. But let's get to the posse. They have some questions coming in here, Mr. Kenny Kirkpatrick. Let's ask a serious question. Do you think the Broncos have to establish a run game this week? And who will be the feature back, if any? Jody, I'll let you take this question.
I've been pounding the table for months now that they need to establish a run game, especially come, playoffs time. The teams that are currently in, I would say probably a good 5 of 7 teams are you could play in cold weather, including in Denver. So I think it's key, and I wish they would, until I see what Audric Estime can do. I still think he needs to get some serious run back there. I've seen, after the last 2 games, I've seen enough of Javonte Williams, 12 carries minus 1 yard. That's pretty hard to do. But I think what you're going to see down is continuing is you're going to see whoever's got the hot hand. For whatever reason, he trusts Javonte Williams. I don't know if that's more pass blocking or what it is, because he played Audric Estime down the stretch in Kansas City, so something there doesn't click with me or doesn't line up with me. But that's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see more Audric Estime and what he can bring.
Yeah, it's hard to say, Kenny. Honestly, it's a week to week thing. I think it's that it depends on the matchups, and it's just Sean Payton had a interesting quote today on Jaleel McLaughlin. He said he believes Jaleel McLaughlin can handle more despite being a smaller running back. He said height is one thing which isn't a big deal, but Jaleel is put together. I wonder if Jaleel McLaughlin is not the guy that's going to get the touches. I've said it before. It's either between Estime and it's Javonte Williams for me who's going to get the playing time. Jaleel McLaughlin's going to be part of the game plan regardless. I just don't think he's a complete running back. I don't think you have a complete running back on this roster right now. I know that Jody's high on Estime, and I think there's something there with Estime. I just don't know. Clearly, Sean Payton, in my opinion, just doesn't really trust him right now. And you always worry about the fumbles. Is that going to be an issue going forward? And going into the playoffs, you have a rookie quarterback. Would you want to risk it with a rookie running back as well? I wondered, I kind of wonder that with Sean Payton. But Kenny, to answer your question, do they need to establish a run game? Yeah, they need to establish a run game week one, but it just doesn't seem like Sean Payton has a confidence in this running back room right now, and that's why I think you're going to see this team go out in the offseason and go pick up a running back and pretty high in the draft and invest into one because this next year draft class is pretty deep with running backs, and B, I mean, you have to get playmakers for Bo Nix. A lot of that is at running back. So with your offensive line, the run block rate that this team has, I mean, they're top 5 in run block rate. So your offensive line playing this well, you should have a running game and be able to establish that. And they just have not been able to do that. I would like to say they could be able to do it in this game, but I don't know. I think this might be another game where we see Bo Nix throw the ball 40 times. And honestly, the screens might be a big part of that, the screen game. I think that's something that has kind of been the run game for this Broncos offense. Honestly, is they can't really get it going on the ground, so they're going to throw screens, and that's kind of be the mixture for this team. As part of the run game and try to get it going. So we shall see what Sean Payton does going forward. But yeah, I mean, it would be nice to see them establish a run, of course.
Especially with them not, since the Saints game, they've made a conservative effort that Bo Nix, he's not going to run. And
yeah,
he's staying in the pocket. I mean, it's helped him in the pocket. It's settled his feet down. It's done a lot of things. But that was a weapon that they've, taken away.
Yeah. And I also wonder if maybe the back's, bothering Bo a little bit too. I know that they really haven't come out and said that. And I know he was on the injury report here a couple of weeks back, but remember that Raider game when he kind of hurt his back a little bit. I wonder if that's not part of it. I know that beforehand he kind of, became more of a pocket passing quarterback, but I don't want to see Bo Nix completely get away from running the football. When it's there, I think you take it, but I just think that he needs to become a better pocket passing quarterback and get the ball to the playmakers so you can see what you have with your playmakers. And it's just, better success. I think Bo Nix would have had better success in the NFL becoming a better pocket passing quarterback. But it's one of those things where going forward, I want to see Bo Nix also be able to take off and run when it's there, and not just kind of abandon that completely. But let's get into the comments some more. We have Paul coming in here and saying all the teams in the AFC playoff race have tough matchups except the Ravens. We have Phil coming in here. Phil, if you have stars, again, appreciate it. Thank you for sending it. Appreciate you all for coming in here and commenting all your questions. And we appreciate the stars. I can't see them right now. It's just the two of us. So, if you sent stars, thank you very much, Phil. Phil says, could this be the week we get in a running back over 100 yards? Jody, I'll ask you that. I mean, we just kind of answered a little bit on the running back situation, but do you think for the first time this season, the Broncos can get over that 100-yard mark on the ground?
I'd like to say so, but this is what Sean Payton is. He's, Cleveland had a poor run game and he chose to throw the ball. He just doesn't want to commit to it. He tells you one thing, but you can see that he's trying to display Nix. My hope was that you could see in that Monday night game, they were throwing the ball deep. He was trying to show Bo Nix off. And I hope that he got that out of his system. And now it's time to get focused and get ready for playoff football. This is going to be a little bit different than when he was in New Orleans when he could play in the dome. So he needs to find one, and I think till I see that he can't do it, I'm going to pound the table for Estime. I've been a huge fan of him from his time at Notre Dame, and the fumbles, that to me, those are one-off fumbles. He had 2 fumbles his whole career at Notre Dame, so um, I need to see more from him before I can just write him off. And I think he can be very important down the stretch for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And Phil, to answer your question here, I think it's a possibility. You can never rule it out, but it's just hard to trust this running game right now because we haven't seen the consistency from this running back room throughout this season. But I mean, this isn't a Colts defense that I'm concerned about completely shutting down the run game per se. I just don't think. I mean, until proven otherwise, I think Sean Payton's going to continue to trust Bo Nix. I think he's got a bunch of confidence in Bo Nix. I think it even goes further than just showing Bo Nix off. I think he just has a ton of confidence in what Bo can do and being able to take care of the football. So I like to say, yeah, this would be the week that they can possibly get over that 100 yard mark for the first time this season from your running back room. But I just think that those odds, when we want those odds to be, they just haven't been there. So we shall see. But I think this is going to be another heavy passing game from Bo Nix on Sunday. We have Paul coming in here as well, including the Broncos, Chiefs, and Browns, or at Browns. Bad example: Miami at Texans, Bucks, Chargers, Bills at Lions, Steelers, and Eagles. And then keep us talking about different matchups. Paul coming in here saying Ravens play the sad Giants. Kenny, I think he's talking about the regular season schedule going forward.
Yeah, that's this. Yeah, this week's schedule.
Yeah, Roy coming in here and saying the hot hand is not working. I mean, it kind of worked a little bit towards the end of the Browns game, though, when McLaughlin was kind of getting going towards the end. I wouldn't say it just hasn't been consistent. I think it showed signs of working. It just hasn't been consistent, and the running back room just hasn't been consistent. And that's one of those, unfortunately, one of those flaws of Sean Payton is just he just can't stick to a running back right now. I just don't think he trusts that this team, one guy in this running back room 100%. That's why you're seeing the rotation of running backs, and these running backs do different things with Javonte Williams, Jaleel McLaughlin, and Estime. They all do different things. So, maybe it's just a mixture of just wanting to mix those guys in. But at some point in time, you've got to establish one running back or at least maybe 2 running backs. But having 3, I mean, that's not a very good recipe for success in the playoffs, and especially on the road which Denver looks like they might be going on the road. We'll see. Still got a couple more games left of the season. But just playoff football in total is just totally different. Defenses will be much better. I hope that Denver can get a run game going.
But he has to commit to it. I mean, look at the Raiders game. That was probably their worst series of the game down the stretch. Knicks had those 3 incomplete passes right away, ran no clock. We didn't commit to it there. Even when we kicked that field goal to take the lead, we had a 2nd and 2 and back-to-back passes. He doesn't commit to it. And that's something Sean Payton has to, look in the mirror and commit to it more.
Yeah. It's just I think that they're going to have to have better personnel in that running back room because remember, they were interested in Josh Jacobs in the offseason.
Yeah, I don't think it's in my opinion, because I think Estime can be the guy. You just have to commit to it and do it, and you have to be okay with doing that, and he just is not. So that's where you're going to see, like we see a lot of the screenplays, the bubbles, the Marvin Mims stuff. That's your run game. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what happens going forward. Hopefully they can establish some sort of run game going forward because having Bo Nix drop back to pass 40 times, I don't know that that's a recipe for success, and putting him in exactly the best possible position to be successful. But Karen, I want to say hello to Karen. Good evening, all. Can't wait for each game. Karen, it's going to be exciting. It's an exciting time for Broncos country. I know we're talking about the running back room and not being consistent, but the Broncos still have a great chance to make the playoffs, and just got to control your own destiny, kind of fate going forward and take care of business. Roy coming in here and saying the running back 1 next year will not be on this roster. I kind of in agreement there with Roy, but I know Jody probably Jody might think that Estime might be the guy. Well, we shall see. Hopefully somebody can take this running back room and kind of just do something. We need to see some life, see some consistency with somebody in this running back room. That would be great. We have Mr. Albert Knoppers coming here, the other horseman. Waza, believe in the Broncos. Absolutely, Albert. Great to see you. Hope work and everything is going well. Kenny said, coming in here and saying, you may see some en routes to Mims some more this week. Yeah, I mean, let me get some more comments, and we'll circle back to that, Jody. Here, I want to get some more hellos and other comments in here first. No real trust in any of the running backs yet. That's why there are 5 of them plus a fullback. Yeah, Scott, I'm kind of in there with you. Just non-trusting the running backs right now. No consistency. Starting one guy over, week after week. Karen here coming and saying, I think the play calling will be different each game based on the opponent for Sean Payton. Yeah, absolutely. It just, the offense starts to become really predictable when you don't have a run game, and it might be a little bit harder for the Broncos offense to be successful being one-dimensional. David Youngkin, David, hopefully all is well health-wise with you. We really appreciate you coming in here and taking time. Hopefully, out of your day to be here. Hope everything health-wise is getting better for you, man. We're praying for you here at Denver Bronco Roundup. He says Bo is becoming a pocket passer, but still can run. He definitely is becoming a better pocket passing quarterback, but just haven't seen him use his legs a ton this year. So hopefully he doesn't completely abandon taking off the run when the defense is giving it to you. Karen here coming in here and saying I want Bo to throw a run as needed, but controlled on that because both do work. Yeah, absolutely, Karen. Got Paul coming in here and saying Sean's first 15 plays have been crap off the slow starts. Yeah, Broncos cannot get off to a slow start in this game. That just can't happen. Got to come off and just take care of business early on. The first 15 plays of the game, I want to see this offense be aggressive and just play well. They got to play well on both sides of the ball. That's one of those things with the bye week. Not be coming around before the Colts game, and the Colts were on a bye too, which I think helps Denver, but can't afford to get off slow against this Colts team. This is a team that's well coached, and they got something to play for too. So you have to come in here and be ready to go and take care of business.
And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Anthony Richardson's not good. So don't let him find a rhythm. I mean, he's Tim Tebow 2.0 as a quarterback, and you've seen games where Tebow got hot. Don't let him do that.
Yeah. That's we'll get into Anthony Richardson here in a little bit. Want to get a couple more hellos. Rodney Garcia coming in here and said, "Good evening, guys. Go Broncos. My biggest concern is how VJ adjusts to the defense if Coach Steichen changes up his play calling." We'll get to that here in a minute with the breaking down the game. Clayton Herron coming in here and said, "Healthier now, and now time to get back to business, baby. Bo time, baby." Absolutely, Clayton. Love the confidence that this fan base has for Bo Nix. I think it's absolutely amazing. Clayton also coming in here and saying, "Have to give it to my guys from the beginning, Bo Nix, and man, that no fly new addition, LOL." Paul coming in here and saying, "Bo will start running again. Watch, no RPOs though." Yeah, a little concerning. Guys, you guys are doing amazing with the comments tonight. We love to see it. Karen coming in here and saying giving Wallace some help on defense would be great because the league saw how awful he was. Pearl coming in here. Pearl, it's great to see you. Hope everything's well with you. We're glad that you were able to catch the pod tonight. MKM Medhead, you're talking about playoffs being different. It is, but do you really think Sean doesn't know that? I mean, Jody, I'll let you take this question. It looks like from a new subscriber. So welcome, Jody. Yeah, take this question, please, sir.
Well, Sean's been in plenty of playoff games and he knows what it's about, but Sean's also the NFC. You had a lot of teams that played in the domes, and he played in the South where it was warm weather. This is totally different for him. You've got Baltimore, you've got Kansas City, you've got Buffalo, you've got Denver, you have Pittsburgh. That's all cold weather, and that's all where you better get ready to run the football. You don't have New Orleans, Tampa, Houston, or Minnesota, places like that that's nice warm weather where you can go play. So I mean, that's to me the big difference. I mean, he knows what playoff football is, but I like I said earlier, I hope that this bye he is getting this team ready for the playoffs, and that means okay, you've displayed Knicks, you've shown him off. There's no more giving everyone the middle finger. Hey, look what I drafted and did with him. It's time to find a run game and make this a complete team, or as
Yeah,
complete as you can make it. I mean, you're not going to get massive tight end play and stuff like that, but there are some things you can do to help it.
Yeah, and I think Sean does know that. I mean, again, this guy is a Super Bowl winning head coach, but I mean, again, it's just it's a different brand of football, right now. And Sean's been out, hasn't been into the playoffs in a while since Drew Brees was his quarterback. So, I mean, I think he definitely knows that, and I think he has his team prepared. I think that's what Denver has on their side right now is you have a head coach that knows how to lead a team through the playoffs and has has won the Super Bowl and has brought a championship back to New Orleans before. So I mean that's one of those pros you have with Sean Payton. So I think he definitely knows. I just think this roster right now, some things he may not have everything that he wanted just because of the dead cap situation you have with Russell Wilson. So, but I think that this team, I mean, you have a great shot going forward. He has a ton of confidence in Bo Nix and what he's able to do. The defense is playing, a top 5 defense is playing really well this year. So, no, I think Sean Payton, I think that he'll have this team prepared going forward and going down the stretch. But we need to get to a sponsor real quick. Again, you guys are doing awesome, blowing up the chat. We love to see it. We appreciate all you guys coming in here and just being amazing questions from all you guys. But I have to talk to you guys about our sponsor, Morgan Trinkets. Let me tell you about our sponsor here, guys. With over 33 years experience, they are your headquarters for Southwest pottery and jewelry, as well as estate gold at wholesale prices. Started in 1990, once a nationwide company. Now they do shows exclusively in northern Colorado and southern Wyoming. All their gold is real gold, 10, 14, or 18 karat gold. All their silver is sterling silver. How do you find Morgan Trinkets? You search up Morgan Trinkets Co. on Etsy today. If you catch Morgan Trinkets at one of their shows, they take all major credit cards on Facebook. They take PayPal, and all orders are shipped free over $50. Check out Morgan Trinkets. That's Morgan Trinkets Co. on Etsy today. Pearl, thank you for being an amazing sponsor for us. We really appreciate you. Just continuing to support for us going forward. So. All right, Jody. Well, again, everybody, you guys are doing great. Just welcome anybody that's coming in here new. MKT Medhead, great to see you in here. Larry Black, we got here. Another new name that I haven't seen before. Welcome, guys. We really appreciate you guys. But Jody, we got to get into our breakdown of the game. Just keys to a Broncos victory in here. What are your top keys on Sunday for the Broncos to get a win against the Colts?
For me, it's stopping. Like I've said, Anthony Richardson is not good, but don't let him, make explosive plays. He's somebody that will do nothing for 59 minutes and then hit you with a deep bomb for an 80-yard pass. Don't let that happen. That's where it starts for me. Shut Jonathan Taylor down. Make Anthony Richardson throw the ball and show that he can be a pocket passer, which he is not. And then continue to do what you've been doing on offense. Since week 4, you've been a top 10 offense, not only in points, but in yards. Continue to do that. Continue to score points. Dominate this game and put it away early. Don't drag this game out into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think that it's just Jonathan Taylor this year, he hasn't had the greatest, year running the football. He's been kind of hurt as well. But I fully expect them, the Colts to lean on Jonathan Taylor in this one. You're on the road in a difficult environment. You have a quarterback that tends to turn the football over and is still kind of learning himself. I mean, Anthony Richardson, year one, rookie year, obviously got hurt, but this year's kind of been up and down with him against different defenses. And I mean, Denver, they're number 1 in sacks, number 1 in pressures this year. So I fully expect them to send blitzes after Anthony Richardson, make him throw the football, but it starts with stopping Jonathan Taylor. I think in this one, can't let him get going because and we all know when you run the football effectively, it definitely opens up the passing game, and you want to make Anthony Richardson beat you. And I know Jameis Winston last week or on Monday night, I should say. Last time the Broncos played against the Browns, I know it was kind of a pass-heavy game there, but kind of same situation here with Anthony Richardson is these two guys. You have two quarterbacks you have now faced in back-to-back games who are turnover prone. They tend to turn the football over quite a bit. So I think Denver's defense can absolutely capitalize on that and get some turnovers, short yardage field, for your offense and really help them out as well. We have a question for Phil McLaughlin here. We're going to get to that here before we get even deeper into this breakdown of the game against the Colts. Phil says comes in here and says, guys, now the Bulls is done. Who is next? Jody, we'll touch up on this real quick before we continue our dive into this game against the Colts.
Sorry, I would expect probably no one until this offseason now. I think the next guy, and you don't really have to do it right now, would probably be Nick Bonito. You might do something with Sutton, but he's got 2 more years on his deal. You might try to do something, especially if he's going to, kind of do what he did this offseason, especially if he hits 1,000 yards and he gets, close to 10 touchdowns again. I expect he's going to want something. Those would be probably the 2 guys for me.
Yeah, I would say, and again, Phil, thank you for sending stars. I think this is probably going to be a star question. Thank you for the stars and supporter. We love having you a part of the posse. As far as who's next for getting a deal, I don't think anybody this year is going to get a deal, but in the offseason, Cortland Sutton, Zach Allen, Nick Bonito are 3 names that I expect Denver to take a look at possibly re-signing. Cortland Sutton has incentives in his contract, but I do not believe he has any more guaranteed money going forward. So if he continues on this path of having a great season, I expect Denver to probably revisit his contract, and he may want more money, at least more guaranteed money on his deal. Zach Allen, I believe he has 1 more year left on his deal after this year, so that's probably a deal you're going to look at. And then, of course, Nick Bonito, I expect them to probably get something done there too, along with free agents that you're going to be bringing in into the draft stuff. So it'll definitely be a busy offseason for the Broncos going forward, taking care of their own players and as well as bringing in different free agents in the draft and whatnot. Again, Phil, thank you for the question. We really appreciated it. We want to touch up on that before we get dive a little bit deeper into our coverage of this game. Larry Black coming in here and saying stay out of deep zone coverage. They did that against the Ravens and Bengals. Man up and rush the passer like old Papa Bear Phillips. Jody, yeah, we'll just get into that right now as far as talking about coverage. We kind of hinted about it earlier with Riley Moss. Who do you think is going to take over for Riley Moss in this game? Do you think it's more Levi Wallace? Do you think it's more Damari Mathis, Chris Abrams-Drain? Because, and again, for me, I think it's going to be a mixed baggage of different players. It depends on who Pat Surtain's on as well. And as far as McMillan, we obviously know they have Alec Pierce, Michael Pittman Jr., and Josh Downs. So they have receivers that Denver's going to have to cover. If you do, shut down Jonathan Taylor in the run game, you have receivers that can get open and make explosive plays. Who do you think kind of steps up in that Riley Moss role, on Sunday?
I think they start if I was going to guess, I think Levi Wallace will start again, but I think his leash will be a lot shorter than last week. See where that goes. The Colts do not have explosive wide receivers. Downs sounds like he's going to be back, and Michael Pittman, they're decent wide receivers. But I think Wallace starts out. He's on a short leash. Depending where that goes, then you move probably to Chris Abrams-Drains. That's where they went, late in that game against Cleveland. It allowed him to get back into man. That's where I think it'll start. If Wallace can – it's really up to Wallace. Does he, improve off the last game, or does he have a continuation of Monday Night Football? If he does, I think the hook's quick, and you go to the rookie, who we didn't see a lot of Monday night, but I thought he played decent. He played really well, I thought, in the preseason. And he's somebody I'd like to see more of. So that's where I think it'll go.
Yeah, see, for me, because Sean Payton did also touch on the kind of the depth in the secondary as well today. He did say, let me find the quote really quick. Um, yeah, I'll just paraphrase it because couldn't find it on my notes. Probably there somewhere, but basically he said he likes the depth that they have in the secondary and they feel good about it going forward. So for me, uh, I mean, I think it'll be a kind of a rotation of guys. I think Levi Wallace. I know that he got picked on quite a bit against the Browns, but he didn't get any help over the top with the safeties. So it just depends again who PS2 and McMillan are on. I don't know quite yet what matchup that's going to be. Is that Pittman? Because the thing is, Pittman hasn't had a great season this year. Josh Downs is actually their leading wide receiver right now. He's kind of been banged up, and we'll see how much he plays in this game. But I just kind of wonder if they'll put PS2 on Josh Downs. But
And I
we
agree
shall
with that.
see.
I think or PS2, he's gonna travel this week and he's gonna take one guy and lock him down and not allow what happened with Judy to happen again. He's gonna whoever that is that if they're picking on whoever, he's gonna go lock one guy down and take away half the field.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and for me, it's more the coach's staff than anything. Like I know Levi Wallace was out there and he got picked on quite a bit against the Browns with Jerry Judy. They were motioning Jerry Judy before the snap and trying to really target Levi Wallace in that game against the Browns on Monday night. But I think it's a coaching staff. I mean, you had just got off a bye week. You have to take this time, go watch the film, and adjust to that. Sean Payton talks about that quite often. I think that that's something that the coaching staff has to adjust to more than anything. I know Levi Wallace, didn't play great, and he's taken full responsibility for that. He came out and he talked about it, but it's on VJ and it's on this coaching staff to realize that sooner. There's no reason that Levi Wallace should have been picked on that much in this game, that game on Monday night against the Browns. Should have made adjustments, either give him help over the top or put Abrams Drain in the game sooner. But that you just cannot let that happen, time and time again. Play after play when it's clearly an issue. After the first couple of times. So I mean, we shall see. I think it's gonna be a rotation of guys, but hopefully VJ and this defense and the defensive coaching staff has learned from some of their mistakes against the Browns, and this is going to be a bounce back game for the defense come Sunday because the Broncos are going to need it.
I agree. I agree. I would like to see Levi Wallace at least get the first shot, see if he can redeem himself. I mean, he is really who I think Denver thought was going to be quarterback number 2 to start this season. He was an early signing for this team, so I hope that because if Moss is continue to be out, you're going to need him. You're going to need the depth, so you need him to go out there and play well. So, and the only way he's going to make Monday night go away is get on the field and make some plays.
Yeah, and honestly, from this kind of switching sides to the Colts offense real quick, because I don't think I got able to kind of talk about that a little bit. Excuse me, the Colts defense, I should say. Their pass rush, I'm not really concerned about their pass rush, Jody. I don't know about you, but their leading pressure guy, the guy that leads that team in pressures, is a former first-round pick from this last year's draft. Leatu Latu has 23 pressures this year, only 4 sacks, but 23 pressures. I mean, if you're looking at any guy, I think to kind of watch to get after Bo Nix from the Colts on the defensive side of the ball, I think it's Latu. His explosiveness in the draft. I loved him as a draft prospect. He's kind of came on from that team a little bit. The sacks don't really show up for him, but the pressures do. I think if you're this Broncos offensive line, you're kind of taking that at note and watching out for that in this game. So I will just ask you this question: are you concerned with on the as far as Colts on the defensive side of the ball, pressure wise? Are you concerned with anybody possibly getting after Bo Nix?
I am not really. The Colts don't do anything great. They don't even do anything good really, and it's weird because you can go look. They do the stats say they do nothing well. But you look at games, they don't get blown out, and for whatever reason, they stay in games, and I don't know why that is, but I hope that that's a trend that changes this week. I think Denver, like I said earlier, does what they did to Atlanta. Um, this is, in my opinion, this is a team that's gotten lucky on a few wins. This is not a good team, and this is a team that you need to put away early and give them no hope.
Yeah, yeah. It's not. It's one of those teams where you don't have a Myles Garrett on that side of the ball. So I don't think you have to worry about the pass rush too much, but it's something to keep an eye on for sure. It's the NFL. You never know what's going to happen on any given Sunday and just any game in total. So definitely something to keep an eye on. Latu is one of those pass rushers that I think it will continue to get better for them. And then we have Mr. Keith Brugman coming in here. Keith, hope everything's going well. We definitely miss you here tonight. Hey, gentlemen, and the posse, zone defense to take advantage of Anthony Richardson's mistakes, or man defense to shut down the receivers. Thanks, gents. And thank you, Keith. Jody, I'll let you answer Keith's question really quickly.
I don't want to see them do what they did in the last two games that the defense struggled. I want to see them, they're a play man and blitz defense, and that's what's gotten you to in my opinion, one of the best defenses in football currently. Live by the sword, die by the sword. When you do something you're not good at, you give up a lot of points. Examples: see the Ravens game and see Cleveland. You couldn't stop. You tried to stop two quarterbacks from. You tried to stop a running quarterback who then just threw all over you, and you tried to stop or help a cornerback because he's not great man, and they threw all over you. So, do what you do best. That's why you lead the NFL in sacks. Continue to do what you do best. Don't change up for other teams.
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement with you, Jody, and as well as Mr. Phil McLaughlin as well. Yeah, I mean, man defense, keep the pressure on the quarterback. Yeah, I think I'm right there with you, Phil and Jody. You do what you do best, blitz, get after the quarterback. I don't think that you have to worry about Anthony Richardson. I mean, taking off the run, yeah, I guess, but you definitely got to contain him in the pocket. But as far as worrying about him, throwing the ball around. I mean, this guy has a big arm, and I just don't think, like Jody, like you said, playing in zone didn't really work for you against the Browns and against the Ravens. So I could see why you would mix that up with your VJ, but I would go more blitz heavy, get after the quarterback, and hopefully this defensive line, because against the Browns, I would like to have seen them get after the quarterback a little bit more. I know in the second half they did do a better job at that in the Browns game, but the first half they kind of struggled with that a little bit. I would like to see this Broncos defensive line really step up and get after Anthony Richardson and really help the secondary out, because you have Riley Moss down. So I think it's time for this defensive line to step up and don't let Anthony Richardson get comfortable in that pocket. Don't let him get his feet set. Keep him contained in the pocket. And no, it's not easy because he's a heck of an athlete, but this guy's going to make mistakes and he's going to throw interceptions. I think when you went up against Jameis Winston, when you were able to blitz a little bit more, he started making more mistakes. So that's what Denver does. It has done well as blitz, and there's a reason why you're first in sacks and first in pressures in the NFL. The blitz, blitzing the quarterback has definitely been a big part of that.
And one other thing that I think gets overlooked: Brandon Jones. He went out early in that Cleveland game. So you're already down Riley Moss, and then you had Devon Keys come in. That was two guys in your secondary that that didn't help. Brandon Jones was a full go today. He's going to play. I think if he can, play a full game, that definitely will help whoever that second cornerback is.
Yeah, absolutely. Mr. Michael Ronquillo coming in here. Michael, again, if you are sending stars, thank you. And just thank you for the question in total. But if you're sending stars, really appreciate it. It's just me and Jody, so we're just trying to, kind of focus on the screen here. I don't have my phone on me on the side. So thank you for sending stars, and for anybody who's sending stars. But he's got a question for us, or maybe even just a statement. Jody, what is your bold prediction against the Indianapolis Colts on Sunday?
I don't even think it's that bold of a prediction. Like I've said earlier, I think it's going to be an Atlanta type game. I think Denver wins this 35-13, 35-17, somewhere in there. If I had to make one bold prediction, I will go with a commit to whoever it is, one running back, and hopefully that's not Williams. That's just, I've seen enough of him. and they find a run game and they commit to it, and we get a running back that goes over 100 yards and maybe a couple touchdowns.
Yeah. Michael, my bold prediction, I'll give you one on either side of the ball. I think this is going to be a big time Jonathan Cooper and Nick Benito kind of game. This is the kind of game you are paying these guys for. I know you're not paying Nick Benito a ton right now, but you're about to pay him big money. Obviously, Cooper getting that extension earlier this year. I think it's going to be a big game for those two. I think that Zach Allen gets a lot, gets double teamed a lot. John Franklin Myers, this could be a game where he, the sacks kind of start. He'll have opportunities to get after the quarterback. The sacks will be there for him. That's what I was trying to say. But I think this edge rushing room with Jonathan Cooper, Nick Benito, I think you're going to see these guys get after Anthony Richardson and possibly have a big game here. And on the offense side of the ball, I'm just going to keep it simple. Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix, this is kind of game where you need good quarterback play from your starting quarterback. And I think Bo Nix is going to continue to improve this week. And he probably watched film over the bye week as well. Worked on some things. I think this is going to be a really big Bo Nix game. And I think he's going to be able to take care of the football. This is a Colts defense that I'm not worried about passing against. And I think Sean Payton's going to let Bo be Bo and let him do his thing. I think this is going to be a big Bo Nix game against the Colts, and you're going to need that with the run game just not being able to kind of count on that this year. Bo Nix has been just solid this year for Denver, and big reason why they're 8-5 this year. We got Kenny in here, says he's giving his bold prediction. AR gets benched in this game. Yeah. Man, that would be something, wouldn't it? Anthony Richardson getting benched for Joe Flacco. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to help their chances anymore. MKD, Medhead, AR definitely 8-0 CN, but I agree with how he'll get handled. Yeah, and everybody, again, we're getting kind of close to the end here, so please, everybody, drop your predictions, your score predictions in the chat. We will give you guys ours as well. But just kind of curious on everybody, just Broncos, how much the Broncos are going to win by. It's going to be, I think it's going to be a closer game. But Jody, we're kind of getting down to the nitty gritty here. I'll get to a couple other comments, but just kind of give your score prediction here as we're kind of counting down, to the end of the show.
This is a game I want to see Denver, start off like they did against Atlanta, not let up the whole game. I expect something 35-13, 35-17, somewhere in that range. Lock down this playoff spot, or pretty much lock it down, and go get ready for the Chargers, which is a big game. Don't overlook this game because they are sneaky, but you are a better team. You do everything better than they do. Go out there and show it.
What's your score prediction?
30. I'll go 35-13 Denver.
Ooh, got those. Got a Denver blowout in here. We got Phil McLaughlin coming in here and saying 28-17 Broncos. Love to see it, Phil, and thank you for the support tonight. MKT Medhead, Broncos 31, Colts 17. Karen coming in here with her prediction. Mine was posted above, 31-20, Broncos win. Thank you, Karen. Apologize for that. Thank you for posting that again. Michael Ronquillo coming in here and saying Broncos 31, Colts 14. Scott coming in here and saying I'm going with Broncos 31, Colts 20. Yeah, so again, guys, keep dropping your score prediction in there. We love seeing that. For me, I think this is a 28-17 game. Honestly, I think it's close in the beginning, but I think Denver, as the game progresses, I think you're going to see this offense kind of get going a little bit. I think you're going to see a couple of turnovers from the Broncos defense. In the first half, I think you're going to see kind of a closer game, but I just think that both teams being on the bye, you're trying to knock off the rust. But I think Denver's just a more talented team, honestly, and I think that establish and run or not, I think Bo Nix, you got to trust in what he can do. I think he's the better quarterback over Anthony Richardson. I think you have a better defense, and we just by Ryan Moss being out, I think, and hoping that Levi Wallace bounces back this week. Hope the secondary can kind of contain Josh Downs, Michael Pittman Jr., and Alec Pierce. And of course, Jonathan Taylor got to stop the run game. But for me, I would say it's 28-17 Bronco win. And this is going to be one of the biggest wins and the Broncos have had in a long time. Like Jody said, probably since Super Bowl 50. I will say that Patriots game last year, though, on Christmas Eve was a pretty big game too. Unfortunately, the Broncos didn't take care of business there, but I think this game was even more important than that game, and I think the Broncos are in better position than they were last year in those games. All right, Jody, we're getting kind of down to the nitty gritty here towards the end of the show. Final thoughts. Again, a huge game for the Broncos on Sunday. They control their own destiny and pretty much lock themselves into the playoffs, I would say, with a 91% or 90-some percent chance to be in the playoffs if they win this game. Just give your final thoughts and as we get ready to get out of here.
But just like I've been saying, put this game away early. Don't let up. Show teams that you're a true playoff team, and start getting things ready for the playoffs. I don't want to overlook these last 4 games, but that needs to be the mindset that we're going to the playoffs and we're going to do damage in the playoffs. We're going to go far in the playoffs, and there's no reason you can't. You've got a elite defense. You've got a top 10 offense, points and yardage from week 4. Nix is improving. He's not your typical rookie quarterback. So there's a lot of good things ahead, but this starts with Sunday, putting the Colts away early and not giving them any life.
Absolutely. Coming in here with some more score predictions. Rodney Garcia coming in here, 32-16 Denver. Love to see it. MKT Medhead, 35-14. He's changing his Broncos prediction. Jody, I think you might have had a little bit of influence on that one with that Broncos prediction and that blowout. So, but okay, guys. Honestly, we really appreciate you guys coming in here, being supportive. Keith, we miss you. Albert, we miss you. Keith will be back on Sunday for post-game show. But again, just thank you guys for everything, all the support that you guys show. Honestly, guys, really appreciate it. If you're new, make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Guys, we have you covered during the season, 3 shows a week. We have you covered in the off season, 2 shows a week. Plus, we have an amazing draft show that we collab with the K&K Sports Show. I also want to give a quick shout out to the K&K Sports Show guys. Make sure to go support those guys. Those guys do amazing things over there. A lot of different sports that they talk over there. So make sure to go support those guys. But again, just thank you guys for everything that you guys do. Larry Black, appreciate you guys. I don't recognize your name in here, but again, we welcome everybody and thank you for the support and for being here tonight. Paul Schaefer coming in here, saying predicting 100-yard rusher, altitude advantage might still be going. Fun pod. Thank you, Paul, so much for the support. Man, we really appreciate you all. We're so lucky to have such a great posse, guys. Truly means so much. We love having everybody. I mean, you guys are amazing. We just can't wait going forward to see how this Broncos football team continues to progress and hopefully gets to the playoffs, because Broncos country, you guys deserve it. And we love covering a team that's in the playoffs, contending, and not having to talk about the draft. For that being said, though, guys, we're going to get on out of here. Thank you guys for everything. Make sure to continue to like, share, subscribe to our channel, and appreciate you guys. I hope you guys have a safe, great weekend. And as always, go Broncos.